Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to look at the brand new Poli MP400. This is by a company called Empower. Now us here at 24 Hour Safety, we are the first company to get a actual unit in our hands to take a look at, to go over and to review for YouTube. This unit hasn't even been released yet. It's not due to release till second quarter of 2019. We're going to take a look at the features and what makes this unit different from every other gas detector. Stay tuned. Alright guys, so here it is. It is the Poli MP400 from a company called Empower. This company is local. They are making all kind of gas detectors, and I'm going to show you why this unit will look familiar to you, and I'm going to show you what sets this unit apart from others. So as you can see here, it just comes in a standard box. It's going to tell you the model of the unit, plus whether or not it has a pump or not, and what gas configurations this has in it. If this unit has any other gas configurations, they will be listed right here. Nothing else special about the box, just your standard cardboard box. So let's go ahead and open this up. Right away in the box you'll see you get a bag with a filter, a little male lure, and some tubing, possibly for calibration. You get your factory calibration certificate. This will tell you everything you need to know, such as the serial number, what the product name is, the model number, and the calibration inspection date, as well as the lot number that was used to calibrate this and who approved it. In the box you will always get a charger with your unit. Now here's what sets this unit apart from every other unit. This is your standard USB micro cable. Every other manufacturer uses their own special type of cable, a charging cable, which means if you lose it or if it gets damaged, you either have to have a backup or you have to call a distributor such as us or the manufacturer and get a cable. With this, you can buy these at any gas station, really. Just a micro USB, and it charges through that. Now I'm not sure why this USB in the computer side is so big. I'm thinking there's a built-in ferrite inside of here that protects from power surges or anything like that, or any kind of noise interference coming in with the charging. So this is really a big plus. And lastly, in the box you actually have the unit itself. So here is a very first look at the Poli MP400 by Empower. I'm going to tell you right now, just from handling this unit, is very rugged. It feels like it's a great build to it. As you can see, it does say demo unit because this is not released yet. However, this is a fully working unit as it sits right here. This one is a pump unit. That's why it has the filter here on the outside that goes to the inside of the filters, or should I say the sensors. It's just a male lure that plugs into here and kind of screws on. You've got your stainless steel alligator clip on the back, and here is the charging port, which is that micro USB. Really good design there. You've got your standard screws on the back here that hold this whole unit together. Now here's something different. As you heard, I told you this was a pumped unit, but all of these are exposed, whereas in most units, if it looks like this, it means it's a diffusion unit, which requires the ambient air to blow across the sensors. However, this is the exhaust for all the sensors, so when it comes in through here, it'll actually exhaust out over the sensors. The good thing about this design is you need no calibration cup. So as you noticed, some of you probably noticed that when I opened the box, I didn't show you a cal cup, which most units come with that are either diffusion or pumped. So if you get a diffusion unit like this, it's going to look exactly like this, but this will be covered actually. This will have a cap on it that screws on right here, and you don't need a cal cup to place over this. So what happens is they'll include a male lure that plugs onto this, and you put your tubing, which would probably be this tubing right here, over that from your regulator. It flows into the units and exhausts out, so you don't ever have to worry about losing your cal cup. Now the one thing I did express to the factory is people are going to lose these little male lures all the time, so I kind of made a suggestion to the factory to make this for the diffusion units, make this a barb on the inside so that you don't have any parts that you can lose. All I got to do is just take that off, put the hose on there, and I'm good to go. So very robust. This unit, it just feels really solid. It feels like I'm, not from the weight of it, but it feels like I'm holding a brick in my hand. It's very lightweight. So I'm going to go over the specs with you of this unit really quickly. The size of this is approximately 5.74 by 3.31 inches. It weighs about 14 ounces. The sensors, you have over 30 interchangeable and field replaceable sensors, including PID for VOCs, EC for toxic, and O2, Pellister for LEL, and NDIR for LEL, and CO2, which is carbon dioxide. Now the battery pack on this thing is rechargeable. It's lithium ion, has 18 hours of runtime in diffusion mode with no wireless option, 16 hours in diffusion with wireless, 12 hours in pumped mode with no wireless, and 10 hours in pump with wireless. So the direct readout on this unit is real-time reading of gas concentration. So especially when it's pumped unit, it's going to give you a real-time. The PID measurement gas and correction factor, it has man-down alarm where you can turn on and off. Visual compliance indicator, which means it's going to have a little light on either one of these that says that it is in compliance. It gives you a battery status on the screen, whether its data logging is on or off, whether the wireless is on and off, and reception quality. It also has your STEL and your TWA and your peak and minimum values. So that is a big plus on a unit, especially of this size. As you can see, it pretty much fits in the palm of my hand. The display is it's a graphical LCD. It's in size probably about 1.77 by 1.73 inches with the LED backlight for enhanced display readability. It does have an automatic screen flip fit feature, which means if it's upside down, if you're wearing it on a holster or some kind of lanyard strap, that the screen will flip. It's only 2 operation keys, so that's kind of good. Doesn't give you a bunch of arrows and everything to confuse you. The sampling is either built-in pump or diffusion, as we mentioned, and the calibration is manual or automatic bump test and calibration with a cali case, which is sold separately. That will come out later in the year. It is a continuous data logging for 6 months for 4 sensors at 1-minute intervals, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now the charging communication, as far as the port goes here, it is charging, data download, instrument setup, and firmware upgrades from the PC or laptop with your PC COM or a cradle or the travel charger. And also being released later in the year, as mentioned, is the cali case, which will do wireless data and alarm status transmission. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good option for this unit. The IP rating on this unit is IP65 for pump and IP67 for diffusion. This is UL Class 1 Div 1 groups A, B, C, and D. The warranty on the sensors is 2 years on most sensors. Now when you start getting into exotics, the warranty will vary. So just keep turning it so you guys can kind of take a look at the overall case of it. As you can see, all the visual displays here on the sides. This is where your alarm will be flashing. This is your alarm horn right here. You've also got one on the bottom here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this unit on. Sorry, the power button's on this side. As you can see, it's a very bright LED light. Another thing that we spoke to the factory about is possibly, if there's not much of a power draw on this, is to incorporate a sensor in here somewhere where if somebody's constantly in the dark, this backlight will stay on. I don't want it to run down the battery, so I told them to keep that in mind. If it wouldn't run down the battery that much, then it would be a great idea to put that in there. So right away it's going through its startup mode. It's telling you all the alarms. It's going to tell you the date and time. There are so many sensors that you could put in this unit. I'm not going to go through them all, but we're talking about sensors like your standard O2 LEL COH2S, as well as like NO2, HCl, ClO2. You could put CL2, pH3, NH3, HCN, SO2. The list goes on and on. So applications that this unit would be used for would be industrial safety, oil and gas, fire, ground, toxic twins detection, environmental, chemical, pharmaceutical, and telecommunications. So a lot of these people like AT&T that you see working on the side of the road that go into these manholes, this would be an excellent solution for them. You have easy access to the pump, sensor, filter, and battery with your standard screws on here. Now, I say standard, but the standard for gas detection is really becoming these hex screws, just because not everybody carries these on them. If they were standard Phillips screws like some used to be, then everybody would have access to these and could possibly start taking these apart and messing them up. So they did incorporate these hex screws in there. So these are intelligent sensors, so which means they have a board on them that when you put them into a slot, it knows what sensor is in what slot. So it's only a one-way operation for these sensors to go in. You cannot mess this up. So if I were to put H2S in here instead of CO, it would recognize that as H2S, whereas back in the day, you would have to install the H2S, go into the unit, select this socket, and tell which sensor it is. So these are smart sensors in here. All right, so here's what the screen looks like. You can see here it shows the pump is drawing. If you hit the button, the screen will come back on. And let me get out of here. This is going through all the info on the unit. But here's the wireless signal, the pump, it is data logging, and your battery indicator. So down here you will see you could do a test of the unit, which if I press that, it'll just test all the alarms and the lights. If I hold down these two buttons together, this is going to get me into the operation menu. So I want to show you something. The password from the factory is 0000. Now, a lot of you that are in gas detection, you will look at this screen right here and say, this looks very familiar. So this looks a lot like the Ray Systems screen, and the reason that is because there are some Ray Systems, or should I say ex-Ray Systems employees that actually invented this unit. So they came up with this company, so it looks a lot similar, and so they stuck with what is simple. So in here you will see you got sensor configurations, alarms, you've got your data logging options, your unit settings where you can go in and set the unit specifically to certain options that you want, your wireless, and you have your exit. So here we're going to go into unit settings, and here you can see you've got your heartbeat light, which will mean it'll be a light blipping at the top that'll just tell you that your unit is running fine. Temperature of the unit, the LCD contrast, you can go in and adjust the contrast. Now your pump speed is very important. I'm not sure what the factory pump speed setting should be at, but this will tell your unit how much to draw in. And of course you've got your language settings, your backlight mode, your LCD auto rotate, you can turn that on and off, and your man down on or off. So basically man down means if this is on and a worker is wearing this on their person, if they stop moving for X amount of seconds, this unit will go into alarm, and it will also send out a signal wirelessly to the laptop of whoever is monitoring that unit, so they know to send in a rescue man. M down timeout, M down threshold, and then you can return back to the main menu. So when man down came out several years ago, it was a really great option to have. This was used mainly in fire departments. Sadly, as you remember, for the 2001 attacks in New York City, when you watched the replay of those videos, you heard a bunch of alarms going off when they were searching for people and firefighters. Those were man down alarms because the body was not moving, the person, the instrument was not moving. Those were mainly implemented into the breathing air packs, and so that's all you heard were those man down alarms going off. So these are very vital because sometimes you will have a lot of workers out in the field, out in the plant, and it's hard to keep track of them. So with this, it's easy to pinpoint their exact location. So I'm going to set this thing into alarm mode just by plugging up the pump here, just so you can kind of see and hear what it looks like. As you can see, when it goes into alarm, all the lights start flashing. The alarm is going off, and as well as there is a vibrator internally that is very strong. So if you're wearing this on your Nomex, you will be able to feel this on your body. So we're going to go ahead and see here. clear that alarm. As soon as you clear the alarm, the pump comes back on, the vibrator stops vibrating, and the lights turn off. I'm not sure if you guys can really hear this. The pump is very quiet. So I'm guessing on a regular unit, the serial number will be listed right here, as well as all the classes. And I'm not sure what will be right here, if this will be anything, because obviously it's just there for demo unit. But anyways, as I mentioned, this is going to be up to a 5 gas meter. They're looking really hard to compete in this market with BW Technologies, MSA, RKI, Crocon, all those guys. They're coming out with this unit, hopefully catering to the contractors, because they wanted to keep it small. And when I talked to the factory and they brought this into me, they said the one thing that the two things they kept in mind was size and price. Obviously, you want it to be at a price point where people can afford this, that are buying multiple units for their crews out in the field. So I'm going to put a link down below to a data sheet where you can actually look at all these specs for yourself. And we are actually going to have a unit in-house for us to keep, to show customers. If you're in the Houston area, stop by 24 Hour Safety. We'd be happy to show you this unit. You can also email us for data sheets on this or more info on this. If you want to put your hands on it, like I said, you can come in, take a look at it. We have 5 locations. We're hoping to get these in all 5 locations, at least a demo unit for now until this comes out second quarter 2019. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below or drop us an email, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.